get Phil in place here, as always. No, that's the Mandarin
A little
curriculum.
bit more zoom. There we go. Sorry, I'm moving myself while you're trying to move me. I know.
Or just move. We're just, we're moving.
We're
At least
all
we're moving.
over.
Which is... That's not how I hold a cup properly. All right.
There's no proper way to hold a cup. So, it's like, if it's cold, this is the way I hold a cup.
Very true. But, in Japanese upbringing, we have to drink our... So, I don't know if you noticed, but whenever I drink, I cover, the end of the cup as I spill tea on myself.
It's so somebody doesn't go, whoops!
I never thought of that.
Just kidding. I just like to make up reasons why to do something.
But no, it's just it's unladylike for people to see you drinking, and I'm like, dude, you're okay, fine.
This is funny because it comes from that's Japanese culture, which is funny. It comes from the same culture that when they eat soup, they grab the bowl and literally just go.
Yep, exactly.
The exact same culture that does exactly that one thing, and one's not ladylike, and somehow that is.
But so, we're supposed to cover at the bottom of the bowl, so
yeah.
To cover our face. For some reason, for females, we're not allowed to show you that we actually consume things.
No, it's not how it works. Yeah. It's like, how I learned I have a glass or plastic bottomed, whatever, beer mug that I got many, many years ago. And I remember the story I was given behind why. And I was like, I'm sticking with that. I don't care what the internet says, is that you need to be able to see through the end of your beer in case somebody's about to try to shoot you. And I was like, that's pretty. So it's a really old, Western thing. And I was like, that's funny. I'm keeping that. I don't care what the real reason is. And it probably is the real reason. It's probably something like that because there's no other reason to put glass on the bottom of a beer mug. And all those beer mugs used to be made out of pewter, which is really funny. Modern pewter does not have lead in it, by the way, everyone. When people are like, that's pewter, you're going to die. No, you're not. It's like pencils. There is no lead in pencils.
Not anymore.
There hasn't been since before I was born. I'm 50, so...
Not anymore. Exactly.
It's been a very long time.
Your mic sounds weird, just to let you know.
Well, let me see.
Me being nitpicky, guys. I know for a lot.
No. It's okay. Let me see what's going on. It's been on a while today, so I'm gonna do a test just to see what it sounds like on my end, so I can see if it's something I can easily fix.
Well, not whatever. It sounded better actually now.
Oh. It's actually normal. It might just be too loud. For once.
Okay, so welcome guys. Welcome to EdTech Cafe, where education, technology, and entrepreneurship come together to help educators thrive. Whether you guys have, been teaching in classrooms at schools for a long time, if you guys are brand new educators, if you guys are trying to build an online course and want to coach on a subject, this is your go-to place to learn anything relevant to the education industry, including teacher training, business growth, classroom success strategies, classroom management, both online and in person. There's
when to buy, when not to buy.
Yes,
that's part of today's.
More like suggestions, but yes.
Well, yeah, suggestions, because I never know. I still don't always know. Am I spending too much on this? Am I not spending enough on this? Should I really buy a new computer? Should I put out that ad? Should I spend that much money on a website or this much money? Should I use this site or that site? So many things that go into it. It's where do you start with that? I mean, and it's hard. I'll be honest.
It really is. What do you? Oh, that's right. I changed my name. Oh boy, to Our
Yeah.
Song Studios.
Hmm.
I'm
And I can
trying.
tell everybody one way that there's so many things to think about when it comes to like spending money on your business. One thing to remember, really key thing. This doesn't mean spend as much as you want. If you hear this and go, "Oh, I'll just spend all my business's money and haha, I don't owe any taxes." Well, that's true. You won't. You just probably won't be able to pay your rent.
Yeah,
But if you spend every penny you make from your business on your business, you will owe zero taxes. That is absolutely true.
depending
But
on the state.
well, okay. I'm not talking about state tax. I mean IRS.
Well, I yeah, well,
Yeah,
business
I
is like
I've just already determined that I will not live in a state that taxes me when I make no money. I will never do that. So I mean, I'll live in a taxation state. I mean, I'm considering moving back to North Carolina. North Carolina is 5.5% across the board, no matter what.
mm,
Well, after the deduction, after the standard deduction, of course, because everybody follows the standard deduction at least. So every penny you spend though is tax deductible. It goes right off. It doesn't technically come like right off the top, but it sort of does.
mm.
It's sort of like that. It's not the same way as tax deductions in your personal life. And so let's say you're a piano teacher and you want to buy a new piano.
So
That new piano comes off of your taxes. So remember that and there's a lot of other things that go into this. Now this is one that I know nobody likes to talk about, but healthcare. Your healthcare doesn't come off your taxes, unfortunately. But a lot of us do get a subsidy, especially those of us that are self-employed and don't make, a lot of money as a self-employed person. So that subsidy is based on how much of your based on your taxable income, not your gross income, but your taxable income. So because of that, let's say, you buy that extra piano you needed and it costs you 5 grand. It could actually save you more than that because you could go just slightly above your limit on your healthcare. And you would end up owing money back, hundreds or thousands back, because you made just a little bit too much money. These are things that are important to remember, that it's okay to spend money on your business. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
It's
and
absolutely okay. Because in the end, these things that you buy, as long as they are useful to your business, not like, ooh, wouldn't it be cool to have? No, like that kind of thing. All of this
if
stuff's
it's
useful,
useful,
but
this okay.
yep.
This is my conversation to myself. Is it useful to my business whether I need it or want it?
Hmm.
And how it's like relevant. But that's just
Yeah.
again just trying to sometimes yes, sometimes that's actually legit and sometimes it's just trying to give myself an excuse, especially if I really want something. But next
Hmm.
week I'm actually working on a script specifically for taxes for tutors for those that are working on 1099s, and I'll be sending you a copy of that script um
Hmm.
before the day before the podcast.
Yes, all of that.
Yes.
Everything, all of it.
Yes, all of it.
Okay.
Today is speaking as per usual, but my communication skills is horrendous today. Just fair warning, guys. But yes, so we're gonna be talking about like low cost tools to help you maximize like the impact in your teaching business. And I'm curious, Phil, what are some tools that you use that are like either free or they're low cost, and what do they do for you?
Let me think of some. Well, the free versions of AI tools like ChatGPT and Gemini, you can use those to help you out if you're stumped on something, on an idea. Even the free versions will give you just as many ideas as the pay versions. So if you don't want to pay for them, go ahead and use them. Um, other like free tools, I like to use other websites that are already set up for my business to have them help me get more students, like SuperProf, which I do pay for SuperProf, but there is a free version of that. I use LessonFace. You can use Wyzent, lots of other sites like that.
Those are to promote your
Just
tutoring skills and or
promoting
tutoring
your
skills.
tutoring business.
That's
These are like
for
free
marketing.
tools you can
So
use. Another really good thing you can do is use social media. Now, this doesn't mean sit on your phone all day, like, like most of us do, staring at social media. Actually, try to utilize it. Go on, find some crowdsourcing. So basically, find some sites, some Facebook sites. Now, Facebook, I still believe, is the best one for this. For the simple reason that like Instagram and TikTok are mostly video based, and TikTok is only video based, and then Instagram is now mostly video based. So the conversations that happen can be good, but I feel like in Facebook, there a lot of better conversations happen. And there's a lot of groups, really great groups that are specifically for whatever your field is. I don't care what it is. There are groups based on it, and there are multiple groups.
so you
And you
find
can
like
ask
Facebook
questions
is more
and
like
answer
community
questions.
based than in
Yeah.
comparison like to Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah.
Rather, it's more of just like kind of like sliding through like maybe like carousels or just like information that you guys promote.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a couple piano sites. There's a piano pedagogy site that I'm on, where a bunch of pedagogues like can ask questions and answer the questions for each other, and get 15 million different answers and still be confused. Or there's a piano technique site that I'm on, which is mostly for me to help others. I don't really need technique help in that, but I like to be on sites like that because I know people need it. So there are things like that, and that is completely free for you to do that. So I do really like using these online sources to help me be better at my business.
Yeah. I know when I started my business and Canva was first introduced, I used the free version a lot and it was super helpful, like just for helping me to it was
Right.
already advanced enough where like I get to like use it to create like lesson plans or workbooks and stuff like that, and making it engaging and looking not okay, not necessarily like look pretty, but also look engaging. It made it look attractive at least. Um, in comparison to what was I using before, PicMonkey, and back then I spent like $13 a month. But in comparison, and it was free, Canva still just was more advanced in comparison to PicMonkey, which honestly, it's PicMonkey is more for images rather than like for creating books. When I used
I've
it
never even
back
heard
at
of
the
it, so
time,
what does that say?
there you go. It's still a good app, but like I said, I think it's more for like images and stuff like that rather than the building like workbooks or flashcards or presentations like Canva, and also Google Classroom. At the beginning, because I this was a time where Skype was going down under at the time, and new things like Zoom and Google Classroom were popping up, and I used Google Classroom
Yeah. Or you mean
for a
Google
while.
Meet if it's video? Google
Yeah,
Classroom is
yeah.
for
Google
classes,
Meet
but yeah.
was for the video conferencing,
Is the-
and Google Classroom. I mean, it was an efficient way to like upload like the materials, set reminders to students. Heck, I even used it with my business clients for like about a year until I found something more useful called email. And why do you call me while I'm doing a podcast? That's it. Hold on. Let's change this to do not disturb. Okay. Um, also, I to get familiarized with some of the websites or platforms for education like Kahoot, Class Dojo, there were free versions that allowed me to, just to be aware of it and like know how to use it.
Yeah.
And then there's Scratch for like coding lessons, Tinkercard for STEM learning. They all have like free versions or low cost versions, and, and
Yeah,
they
that is
keep it
important,
less
looking for low
strict.
cost. And that's what goes back to something you said, that Google video conferencing, Google Meet is free.
Uh-huh.
It's just free.
And Zoom
Not
is
like,
also
and
free.
it's good. Yeah.
Zoom also has a free
Well,
version.
yeah, Zoom is free, but Google is free, like for it's not limited free,
Yeah,
put it that way, as far as one-on-ones. Zoom is limited to, I believe, 40 minutes, but it's been a while.
45.
They keep changing it. So I thought they changed it to 40 because they wanted to get away from like, I take out that 5 minutes for people that did 45-minute things. But I don't know. It's been so, I'd had Pro for years now. And I have students that I use Meet for. And here's the great thing. So if you are a music teacher and you are not very tech savvy, and neither are your students. Now, I'm really good at being able to help my students set up Zoom to be able to hear them in the lessons. There's a thing called original sound for musicians. Some people really have a hard time with that, even if you step by step, like tell them exactly what to do, and that's okay. One thing nice about Google Meet is Google Meet does not block all background noise. So unless there's something on their computer doing that. Now, I did recently have a student where they had a new laptop. It was blocking all background noise. And they were like, we have no idea what it's doing. It's like, do you have something called crisp on there? Is there a little K in the corner? Like, no. I'm like, I have no idea then. I'm like, we can't even have this lesson because I can't hear you. I cannot hear your piano. I can't hear anything except your speaking voice. That will happen. Just know that will happen sometimes. And there's not a lot you can do with it about that except say, try another device. But Google Meet, for the most part, is great because I have some singing students that Zoom just wasn't working because we were not able to, I couldn't help them get it set up. So I was just like, let's just use Google Meet from now on. So you don't even have to deal with it. You just go into Google Meet and I'll be able to hear you sing. I'll be able to hear your piano. It may not be the same quality as Zoom original sound, but the two nice things is you don't have to do anything and it's free.
Yeah.
It just works.
And another app when it comes to like, although I do try to avoid it, uh, is using WhatsApp video for conferencing, because
Oh, I did that once.
it's
Yeah, I
always
forgot about that.
good to have multiple online meeting platforms, whether it be Zoom or I was going to call it Google Translate, Google Meet.
Yeah.
Because especially when you have international clients, let's say that you have a client in Dubai, they might have more issues with Zoom if Zoom is allowed at that period of time. I never had luck with Google Meets. Um, so
Mm.
sometimes I will have to use either FaceTime, but what has been working is WhatsApp. So it's always good
Mm.
to have these like other free conference platforms. There we go. That's the term I was looking for
Yeah, yeah.
when you need to, talk to your students or your stakeholders or your clients. So definitely always research what's out there. Um,
Yeah.
and go ahead.
Go ahead. And I was going to say that is important because of different countries, like you said, like in Dubai, something might just not work, and it might work because I teach a couple students in China, and Zoom works perfectly in China. It always works in China.
Mhm.
I don't know why, because all European social media platforms, including TikTok, by the way, is illegal in China. It's like its own platform is illegal over there. like, okay, whatever. Um, so it always surprises me that Zoom works, and I'm always very happy that Zoom works over there. So you do have to just know what does work.
Yeah.
So because I don't know if Google Meet works over there. I'm not sure. I haven't ever tried it.
It's
It might, but I'm not sure.
it's inconsistent.
Okay.
It's inconsistent. And let me know if you guys have like what your experience is if you tried Google Meet, if you ever had an online conference in China. I would like to know. But I know my end is definitely been inconsistent. I
Yeah.
have a couple
So
of
the
clients in
the
Beijing that work
internets are
from.
telling me things. The internets are telling me things. It's saying that unless the person has a VPN, they pretty much can't use Google Meet in China.
Mm. Okay, there we go. There we go.
So that's the answer to that. So it's pretty much Zoom. I mean, I don't know who Zoom paid off over in China to allow it to be able to work, but I'm very happy that they did because I can have those lessons.
Yes, and also like I'm also happy for that because I always use Zoom as my primary source when it comes to online conferencing, and it makes my meetings not just teaching or just coaching, just like regular meetings. I just love like all the additional features that I'm able to utilize just to make my life simpler. Like
Yeah.
taking AI notes, which I totally forgot. Mother floofers. Okay, sorry about that. Shush. You shush.
So there's that made me think of something as far as video conferencing, because as teachers who are teaching on, let me hit that OK button while I'm talking. Okay. So that it doesn't stop it. Who are primarily teaching online, and a lot of people listening might be online teachers, is you need that video conferencing to be something that works. Now, let's say, again, I'm a music teacher, so this is what I go to. If you are not teaching music, this may not matter. But audio does matter in the music teaching. Now, if you do have trouble with Zoom and you don't want to use Google or Microsoft, which is understandable because, I mean, they can both be kind of glitchy at best. I mean, on my experience with both Teams and Meet, and they both have their good sides,
Oh,
you
and also
know?
Discord too. Sorry, I
Yeah,
tried to teach online
Discord.
on
Yeah.
Discord.
Well, the video conferencing on Discord, I'm just going to be blunt, is is slightly better than terrible
It's a
because
work in
I've used it.
progress because I've never
Yeah,
used
but
it.
it's been in progress for like 10 years. That's not a work in progress. That's a we don't care. We just have it here because we have to. Now, I will say this. If both sides have insane internet, it's good
Hmm.
because it is made for gamers. And what I think they're doing is they're assuming they're just like, you know what? If you're going to be a big time gamer, you got to have plugged in fiber. Otherwise, you might as well not be on here, is what they're probably thinking. So that's why everything is a little higher end. So that's why I say it's a little better than terrible, is because it doesn't prioritize anything. It makes everything, it's like all or nothing. It either works or it doesn't. There's a musician version of that called Jam Kazam that's been around forever that is just like that and even worse, to the point where if both sides have insanely good internet, you can actually play duets together. It's that good. But it has to be really good. So my other side of that is something like Rock Out Loud. I use Rock Out Loud. I know there are other options. Oh, I was trying to look up what the other one was. I know there's at least one other one very similar to that, Rock Out Loud. I use that one. It costs me $10 a month though, just so you know, it's not free. So I consider that a low cost option for the fact that I've had a couple students where no matter what we do on Zoom, it does not matter. I can't hear them. I can't even barely hear them talking. And I even lead them into the Zoom settings where it has volume control for the microphone. And they're like, it's all the way up. Everything's turned all the way up. And I still can't hear anything. So we go to Rock Out Loud. Everything works perfectly. Now, I've had one student where Rock Out Loud didn't work, but part of that was their latency. They have a really bad latency. So we had to go to Zoom and figure that out. But Zoom was not a problem with them. So occasionally you are going to have to branch out and say, okay, is there something else I can use with this student to make it work? Or is it just their device?
Yeah.
It's
And
usually their device, but you know, figuring something else helps.
and you bring a good you know in there you touch when it comes to like whenever we see like these resources, especially like when it's free or low cost, and
Mm-hmm.
when you were talking about Rock Out Loud, you really hit like three questions, to be honest. Does it align with my teaching goals when it comes to like audio and you want, to hear the student play the piano, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Also, like, will it save? Will it make it? Will make? Bleh. I told you guys my communication. Forget it. Olvídalo. Make learning. Will it make learning more engaging, or will it save me time? So rather than like switching like different platforms and adjusting the settings and stuff like that, and then is it easy for students to use? You mentioned that didn't work for one student, but for other students it did. And for a platform being $10 a month, you know, that
Mm-hmm.
is low cost. Um, anything that's below $20 a month is low cost.
Yeah.
I don't know how you judge it, but
Oh, I
um,
agree. I agree totally. This is the only reason I did not mention Forte lessons. Nothing against them. But if you, with Forte lessons, so the one you see right here, rockoutloud.live, not .com. So if you look for .com, you're never going to find it. It's weirdly difficult to sign up for. And so I always have a link on my, in my favorites for it. So it's, yeah, because otherwise it's really weird. Forte lessons, I have one student through Forte lessons, and their system is awesome also. But if you don't have any students through them, it is $30 a month
that's
to
steep.
use their system. I'm like, Rock Out Loud is one third of that cost, and it gives me exactly the same thing.
Mm,
And they've been doing it longer, just to be honest. Forte's only been around a few years. So, but if you have a student through them, then it's $10 a month. But as soon as you have no students, it immediately goes right back up to 30. So that's why I just stick with my Rock Out Loud subscription
yeah.
because it's great.
Another secret when it comes to owning an education business without spending a fortune is crowdsourcing.
Hmm.
Now, have you ever? I don't know. Have you
Well, I
ever?
sort of talked about it a little bit when I said go to Facebook, find groups.
Yeah.
That's my sort of crowdsourcing is
Mm,
finding groups on Facebook that can help each other, where you can help them, they can help you, where you can ask a question and kind of hopefully get an answer or at least find out what other people do. If you're having an issue trying to figure out how to do something, get some ideas from other people, like, and even if it's whether it's directly for a business or for how you teach something. If you're a piano teacher and like, I can't figure out how to get my student to X, then
mm.
see what other people's ideas are. You're going to get a million different ideas, but that's okay. Maybe there'll be something in there you've never seen, never heard, that actually works for you.
Yeah. One of my favorite crowd sourcing sites is actually Teachers Pay Teachers. Now, I do actually have
All right.
products on sale, books,
Mm-hmm.
workbooks, all that stuff on Teachers Pay Teachers. But what I also like about it is there's a free section in where, and this is like a whole teacher collaboration. Like they share like their materials. Sometimes it's free, sometimes you purchase them. But there's also a community just to give like ideas um, and how to do a particular lesson or tips on how to modify that. And
Mm-hmm.
especially like in the comments, it's really supportive actually. So if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely check out Teachers Pay Teachers. And there's also
Yeah.
Share My Lesson. Now, I only learned about that today,
Mm.
so
Hmm.
I don't know too much about Share My Lesson. If you guys have experience in that, please share your experiences.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. So basically, Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
totally
teaching
forgot
support.
about teachers pay teachers because I mean I don't I've been on it years ago and I haven't used it because I had really had no need for it, but it is an awesome site to
Hmm.
find things that might be helpful to you.
Yeah, and then also guys, OERs. I've used OERs for decades. And what OERs is just open educational resources. And it has actually free lesson plans. It gives you like what materials that you need. It's very very popular within the education industry, especially in the teacher world. If you just need, if you don't want to use AI, well, this is how we did it before AI,
Hmm.
is get inspired by these other lesson plans that you can find, and
Yeah.
you can modify them to your needs and goals for your group, for your class. And then
Cool.
also like just reaching out to your network, like just talk to your other teachers like in your school or within the industry. That's why I love LinkedIn. And I was hesitant before because I get all these like these
Oh,
messages,
it's
and
daily. Marketing people, I can help you grow your business. No, you can't. Delete, block. And then you get tired of deleting them and blocking them that it just, yeah,
yeah,
it's so.
yeah, yeah. So, but with that said, there actually are people in LinkedIn. It's just you have to know who to connect and
Hmm.
who you need to follow, and you will be able to, you know, um, build a skill of just know to identify who are the people you want to actually network with, and those I can grow your business. Hey, I like your YouTube channel. This is how you can fix it. And I'm like, did I ask for your advice? Did I ever reach out to you?
Hmm.
Not even answering you. And also, there are a bunch of teacher groups on social media, like you touched on, Phil. Facebook,
Yeah.
link, LinkedIn, also Reddit.
Reddit is fun to read
It's
through. I read
fun
through
it's
at least
fun
one
to
thing
read.
a day in Reddit. At
Exactly.
least one thing a day, which is why my Google search always brings up Reddit when I'm looking up anything.
Yeah. It's I mean it sometimes, there are some treasures. A lot of them, you have questions that you're not sure
Yeah.
that you want answered.
Oh yeah, you'll get the weirdest things like why is this coming up on my Reddit feed and why can't I stop reading it?
Or why was that question asked, like, and you've been
And this
teaching
has
for how
absolutely
many
nothing to do
years?
with anything that I said I'm interested in, but yeah, seriously?
Okay. So, creativity on a budget. Thinking outside the box.
Hmm.
You guys, we can be creative without overspending. We can honestly recycle our own resources, especially if you guys are teaching with kids. Now,
Hmm.
for a lot of you who are like, well, duh. It's like, well, a lot of people are new. Okay, so you
Hmm.
can, if you have leftover um, art supplies, right? And
Yeah.
there's this other project that you want to do. So one of the things that we're doing is that I'm teaching is Spain, and so I have some like leftover like pieces from a previous art project that we're going to do a gaudy activity, and for them to build like their own church or cathedral, sorry, and so repurposing it so I don't have to order for more, and then I end up being even more overstock than I
Hmm.
am. So, and Pinterest is fabulous for this. Also, just typing, and I've done this, is Googling ideas on how to use, and then the list of leftover items, and then it'll give you a list of activities or like YouTube bits, and see how you can modify it to, the theme of the lesson. But also, let's say
Yeah.
that it's not arts and crafts. Let's say you're doing a presentation. Google Slides, which can turn into an interactive whiteboard. That's free. Flipgrid is another one. And that could be like your Flipgrid is like a virtual discussion space.
Flipgrid doesn't exist anymore.
What? It went
It hasn't.
out?
Yeah, you know when Microsoft bought them,
Oh,
it turned it
that's
into Flip, and
right.
they dumped it like right after
And it was
they
it was
dumped it
so
in less than a year after buying
good.
it. They took all of the leadership from Flip and pulled them over to take lessons, and then within a couple months, all of a sudden I noticed that they all disappeared, and I didn't realize it was because Microsoft was like, nah, you're all gone, get out.
You words I'm
Yeah, they've
not
been
going
gone
to
for a
say.
while.
No,
Yeah.
oh, it was last year. That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Mother.
Well, I say a while. It was last year sometime. Though well, that's because a lot of us that
Oh,
got
dude,
on it
that
were
was
just
like
like,
a month before them.
yeah, they were already downhilling that. They had already fired all of the staff from Flip because Flip was I mean, it's like, why would, if you want to make money off something and you buy that kind of social media, there's no advertising on it. So you can't really easily add advertising to something like that. So you can't make money. It only costs money. And I don't think they were even thinking when they purchased that one. Personally. But I know your thoughts on that already. I can hear them. I can hear them in my head.
And at the same time. Okay. Luckily, there are alternatives to Flip, and I think I mentioned it for our last
Let's see.
video actually. And I can't remember.
Here, let's see what the internets will tell us.
No, I
5.
I,
Oh.
I said.
Let's see. Well, that's dumb. That's not a good one. Let's see.
I have
Don't.
to
Nah.
go through
Not
my
useful.
my script from last week, but there was one that I used before. When it comes to virtual space outside of using Google Classroom, but it was like a social. It's basically like a social media for your classroom, and
Okay.
and parents know, like, they're in the loop. They are involved of what you're teaching in class, the homework assignments, what kids did great on. I am blanking out on it. So, was it? No, it wasn't.
Well, there's one that I just did a search. Said something called Mirror Talk. It looks like is an alternative to Flip.
Mirror Talk, yes. I have to.
I don't know that one. And the other options it's giving are not like all that useful. Gravity, I don't know that one at all.
Let me go back. Let me go back. I do not remember. No, that's Smart Goals. Hold on, guys. I need to do my research. Research what I. Um. Meanwhile, Phil, all to you while I
Yeah.
go through my scripts.
Da-ba-da-ba-da. So yeah, these. Anyway, these whatever social media or whatever that you can find, whether it is social media or it is a website that teachers are on, like the Teachers Pay Teachers site, that you can find, whatever you use, let us know if you found something. But just keep searching if you haven't found something perfect, and just keep looking for groups. There are so many groups out there. If I go back to like the 90s when I was in college, there was no such thing. If there was no local group, there was no group. There was no one to help you. You had to know it from books, which I mean, I've got piano teaching books, and then they're great. But it's always nice to have these these options of groups that are international groups, even that can help you to learn how to better do whatever it is you want to do or that you do. Um, Stuff like, and I wish Flip was still around because kids liked it. I wasn't a big fan, but kids seem to really like it,
Yeah, because it
which
kept
is
us
all that
engaged.
matters. Yeah, that's the only thing that matters. It's like, okay, I may not think it's that useful, but they like it. It's kind of like, I think Baby Shark is a really dumb song, but kids loved it for a while and now they all hate it. But it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what us as teachers think if it engages the student. To a point. I will say to a point. Of course.
Class
If I'm trying
Dojo.
to, yeah.
It was Class
Oh,
Dojo.
yeah, you talked about that one. Yeah.
Yes, and I think I said it earlier too.
Yeah, you did. You did say it earlier.
Okay. Wow. Hi guys. Hello. But yeah, so Class Dojo is actually I think I even said it was, even though I did like Flip, but it was better than Flip. And where like because I liked how like personalized it gets. Um.
Hmm.
So yeah. I'm so glad
No,
I
it's pretty
found that.
cool.
Yeah. No,
Hey,
it
and I
is.
mean,
It
they
is.
even have like Class Dojo instantly translates things to your language, which a lot of platforms do. They just don't tell you about it, but a lot of platforms will do that. If you wonder, it's like, wow, this is amazing. Everybody on here speaks English. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
Trust me. They certainly don't. It's like they just don't have very good English. No, it's not them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, you're right. They don't have good English, but it's not them.
Yeah. But also too, like when it comes to like creativity, is not just I know we're talking um about shoot. Oh, we were talking about like repurposing like arts and craft stuff is also
Mm.
repurposing tech. That's what I was getting to, like with the Google
Hmm.
Slides and Class Dojo, and there's another one, but it acts more of like a digital bulletin board than anything else, and it's called. It starts with a P. Padlet.
Padlet. Okay.
Padlet. Yeah. I never really had to use it, but I can see how it's beneficial for educators.
Mm. This actually gets me to part of a good topic for this discussion is that I'm thinking we're naming a bunch of different things. So we're already like giving you like a dozen different options. One thing to remember is don't overload yourself with
Mm.
these. So Rosita is really good at using like a billion things at once. So most of us though do need to say limit yourself. Say so even with social media, this is one of the issues with business is unless you have software and the good ones are not free that will manage your social media for you, the good ones are not only not free, they're not cheap. So they are not cost effective,
With that
but they're
said,
good.
there are some free ones that are better than paid subscriptions.
Okay. There, I
So,
mean, I've got one that I've used that is okay. That I paid a very small fee for lifetime use, um, but it's limited, a little bit limited, and generally though the really good ones are expensive, and like the really good ones that'll do all that work for you. So don't overload yourself with, oh my gosh, I've got to post to Facebook and then I've got to post to Instagram, then I got to post to TikTok, then I have to post to LinkedIn. You can do that all from like one site,
yes,
but
you can.
also remember you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to always post to everything. A lot of experts, as far as like YouTube is concerned, will say that if you're going to post to YouTube, just be consistent. You don't have to post every day. They're like just post either the usually what I've read is either twice a week, or once every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
which may not seem like much, but one of the temptations I find that a lot of us get into is that I'm going to make money on. So, first thing to do is get that out of your mind. Because is there a chance? Yes, there is. The one thing that has to happen for you to make any real money on any social media is you have to go viral. And when I mean viral, I mean millions, not thousands, not tens of thousands. I've had tens of thousands of views on one Instagram post. I had 60,000 views on one Instagram post. I'm not viral. I still don't even have 1,000 followers on Instagram. On YouTube, you're talking at least 100,000, but you need to get a good percentage of followers from that. Otherwise, you are not going to make any money because it takes a lot to make money off these. So get that out of your head. And if it happens, wonderful. But don't go into it thinking I'm going to be an influencer. It's like,
Yeah, you're doing it to one of two things or a combination of both. One, when you do go to the social media, you're sharing your knowledge, you're sharing your experience. And two, it's a way for marketing yourself by sharing your knowledge and experience. You don't want to, a lot of you do not want to get overwhelmed. Your audience doesn't want to get overwhelmed with information. There are a lot these people. You got to realize when clients, when they find you, they are searching for this. They're already looking at videos on pertaining about the topic that they're searching for, and then hopefully, like, you're the one that they choose to follow. Your name will slowly, based on the consistency, will have that relationship to that particular follower. But yeah, don't try to do it every day unless if you have an automation system, which that's a whole other topic as well. You can schedule things in advance, but if you're first starting out, take it slow. Honestly, when I first started, and I actually still kind of do this, is just one video every 2 weeks. As much as I wanted to do one video per week, I do not have the mental capacity to do that right now.
Yeah.
And especially,
and then when you do, keep it simple.
Yes.
Try to keep it simple. I am a good example of that. I went so overboard trying to video edit that it was just taking a lot of time. And I was realizing at one point I could be spending 2 to 3 hours for one video. I'm like, wait, there is no need for this. You don't need to over edit your video. I mean, if there's a really bad spot, delete it, but don't over edit your video. Just make the video, post the video. Yeah. If you become an influencer, then it will matter more. But at this point, you're really just trying to get information out there that can help your students or potential students.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
When it comes to social media, don't aim to make money. I know I sound like a broken record, but you want to help, right? That's the whole reason that you guys are creating an educational business, right? Is to help guide people with your knowledge, with your experience. And hey, if it makes you money one day, bravo, you leveled up. That's just showcasing your hard work.
Yeah. And just remember, if you're on, as far as like making money, YouTube for the most part, for people who can make money on it, makes the most, and it's not very much. It's about average, as what I think I read, is for every 1,000 views when you're monetized. Every 1,000 views is about $5. It depends, though. It really depends on length of video, how much of the video people watch, There's a lot of things that go into that number, I think. So it does depend. And shorts are going to make you less money. You'd have to have a lot more views for the money.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same amount of ads.
Sorry, I'm reposting your post to make sure people from like Twitch and LinkedIn.
Oh, right.
And
See
other
that. Yeah, because I'm
platforms.
not on there. I was just looking at one
I
at a
have to
time
see
on my
if,
screen.
I need to add you to OBS too. We'll see. Whatever. That's a thing to look up for another day.
Where is my LinkedIn? There.
I already did it. It's
Yeah,
on-
I'll have to look at that.
oh,
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. All right, we're going to end this a little bit early today.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. And we shall see you guys next Thursday. And where we're going to be
Yep.
talking about your favorite topic, taxes.
Donuts. Oh, no. Okay, Texas, yeah.
No donuts. No donuts. I found Too Good to Go, and they gave us like over a dozen donuts.
Yeah, one of our local donut places does the Too Good to Go, but I just went in today and got one donut, and I was like, you guys do that, right? It's like, yeah, you get like 9 donuts for like $6, which is like insanely cheap.
Right? Right?
But I don't need 9 donuts.
No, but it's good for the office or when you want to suck up to a school.
I'm the only one that lives in this office, so yeah, I don't need 9 donuts.
All right, I'll see you later.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
See y'all.
Bye, guys.